What's up, everybody? Hope everyone is doing well. I'm going to be as fast as I can on this, but I am just so excited to go and share with you more behind the scenes, or not even behind the scenes, but the what, why, where, when, how, on everything to do with this patch. I've had a lot of people ask about the patch, but I also, before I even go and talk to you more about the patch and what it does and what it's already done for me just yesterday and what it's done for my wife the last, this last week now or last, 5, 6 days. There's so much stuff to share. But before sharing all the amazing things the patch is doing for my wife and I, and for my partner or my partner in the business, like my colleague, whatever we want to call each other, um, just not even what it's done for all of us and their family and their kids and now their dogs. I mean, it is so amazing what this patch is doing, but I also want to share with you the alignment and how the opportunity came in front of me, because that is where you will understand the passion of why I feel so called to this, why I feel that this is a godsend, and why I just 100% believe that within the next 6 months to a year, it is completely going to change my wife and I's life, and really anyone who decides to get involved with this going forward. So, so with that being said, let me go and share with you the how I got involved with this, the why I got involved with this, and I think we'll start with the why I got involved with this, and then go into the how and the what and what this product is, and then we'll go into the amazing testimonies that it's done for my wife and I and everybody already. So real fast, the business I have is very unpredictable. It's I have to be available all the time, but that doesn't mean that being available all the time is bringing in the money, especially with how high the overhead is to run Moody Blue on top of the personal life that we have with kids, sports, hobbies, things that we try to do as a family, going out, all that kind of stuff. So with that all being said, I have really needed to go and grow and get some kind of other income. Well, we have a dance mom who I've personally known for years. Our girls have danced together for years. I've known her and her husband. Not only have our girls danced here in town, but our girls also had, both of our girls had the opportunity to go to Stadium of Fire at BYU. And so this dance mom was amazing, an opportunity of helping us out with the girls going back and forth on transportation when, for example, I could only drop them off to BYU Stadium, but I couldn't pick them back up, or vice versa. So there has been a personal friendship there, being dance moms and dads together and everything like that. But then what happened was, when I started doing side jobs and posted I was looking for work, she went and brought this opportunity to me and talked to me about the patch, and also have known about her husband's business and just some things that happened there. And so they were in a time where financially they really needed a miracle to come into their life, and that's what this patch was. It really was a miracle for them, and it wasn't just a financial miracle, but it's also been a health and pain wise miracle for her and her husband. And she was a nurse for 20 plus years, working with, I forget what the word is, and I should have written it down before even doing this, but like working in New York and working in some of the best hospitals, working with cardiovascular, or I'll put it in a comment of in the comment after this video of exactly what she was doing. But as soon as her being in a medical background, and seeing people going under cardiac arrest and all kinds of stuff, and doing it for 20 years, as soon as she got involved with this product, and then also had her own personal health things and her husband as well, as soon as she got involved and everything happened, it completely changed their family's life, completely saved them, could completely put them in a really good spot. And when you see that financial piece, when you see the opportunity, you definitely believe it because you see it in person, right? Well, that was before even knowing the product. So she had, talking about the business opportunities, and she had talking about the patch, and it was something that I had good feelings on. I definitely had a good feeling on it, but it was just a matter of having the time and money to get the patches. It was just a lot of stuff, and obviously just getting distracted. Always go go go, and so I didn't get involved with the patch yet. And I'm just so grateful for my wife. I've been talking to my wife about it, and she was just very like agreeing and just just being very supportive of like yeah, babe, we should go and get involved with this. So we would talk about doing it, but then we would procrastinate on doing it, and then eventually after some time, I have just been really feeling called to go and be the light. My passion is honestly not driving. My passion is people, helping people, praying for people, being that light in the Lord's name, and just God using me as a tool to bring people closer to Him and help people believe. I love preaching, and if I could do, I've always said, especially lately, that if I could just preach all the time, I would do it. Like I would just love to just be out there preaching to everybody all the time, giving Bibles to people, just God using me and me doing amazing things in the Lord's name. And but how do I ever get there? And originally, I thought it was just going to be Moody Blue Express. I thought it was just going to be the company that I would eventually be able to step back from and go do preaching. But the business is just too expensive to do that. And so I've been looking for other opportunities. Well, I have prayed to God that, Lord, how do I be the light? Like, Lord, help me be the light. Lord, help me be the salt. Lord, help me, help me hear you better, Lord, where I can truly follow you in every single way and serve you in every single way. And this was all before Charlie got shot. And we had a worship night at church. No, not at church. It was at the Main Street Park. Some of you were there, and that was a moment where I feel like a lot of believers, you guys don't understand this, being on fire. Right? I felt like my fire was not out, but it was dimmed. And it wasn't dimmed because I was going away from God. It wasn't dimmed because I was being more negative or losing faith. It was just dimmed because I was just so distracted in all the worldly things that happen in our life and work and business, and just go, 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 and just not giving the Lord more time. And what happened was that day of worship, I am so grateful I was able to have a very spiritual encounter and able to feel the Lord's presence. And when you have that feeling, when you feel the Lord's presence, nothing else matters. Like truly, nothing else matters. And it is just the most rewarding and such a God grace, loving, forgiving feeling. It's just so amazing. And I was crying. I mean, I was just so in awe of just feeling that love and just feeling the Almighty. And I had this Christian brother of mine that came around, put his arm around me, and we both had our hands in the air. And I just was so ready. I was so on fire to serve God. So then I, started preaching more, all that stuff. I had the plan of next year starting a motorcycle club that's completely dedicated to building God's kingdom and, praying over people and just doing all kinds of great things. Well, then Charlie gets shot. He gets shot, and I had no idea who he was. But the moment I started watching his videos and I started seeing his boldness and faith in Christ and putting that out there, it like amplified that fire. I mean, I'm gonna fire now, though. I'm gonna be on fire till I die. And and what happened was our brother Mike Smith at Center Point Church. His church is very, very close to where everything happened. And when I saw that church went and did a prayer over the community and everything, my son and I got in the Harley and we rode over there. Well, when that happened, the feeling of conviction, the feeling of needing to go and be the light, the feeling of needing to preach, the feeling of it all was, it just keeps getting amplified. And what happened was, there's a part in the Bible with Isaiah where Isaiah has this experience with God, and God, after this thing goes and puts a coal on him, he's able to talk because he felt so convicted. He didn't feel like he could talk even. When he was cleansed, he had this opportunity of being cleansed and experiencing God's grace. God said, "Who do I send?" And Isaiah, got goosebumps. Um, Isaiah said, Isaiah said, "Here I am, send me." Send me. And at church, at Center Point, I was just crying and just saying, "Here I am, God, send me." Send me to save lives. Send me to resurrect the dead. Send me to be the fire, the light, all of it. And the feeling and calling of being out there to preach has been so big that I've been trying to figure out, how the heck am I going to preach as much as I'm feeling called to with Moody Blue and everything like that. Okay. So now you guys hear the story, right? You hear the calling and the calling to serve God and everything like that. I'm going to share one more thing with you too before we get into this patch. My kids, when they were younger, they would always ask me, if I had a superpower, what would it be? My mom's suffering cancer. She's a 2-time breast cancer survivor. She has fibromyalgia, diabetes, arthritis. She just had a thyroid surgery in her neck. She's got back pains. She's got so much stuff going on. My grandma, her mom, my grandma, she has Alzheimer's and dementia, and there's just so much suffering. And even before this, I've always just had family and my grandparents and her. My mom has, been suffering her whole life. And now my dad, who I call my dad, he, I've been noticing him being in some pain too. And but for the last couple of years, my kids have asked me that, Dad, if you had a superpower, what would it be? And that superpower that I have always wanted and felt called to has been to go and heal people. That if I had the opportunity, I would go and heal people, and I would try to take away the pain. I would try to just change people's lives when it comes to illness. Okay, so now you can kind of get the heart and passion of sharing something with people that can go and heal them. Share something with people that can possibly really change their lives. And another way to be the light. So now we go into how this patch. What does this patch have to do with being the light? What does this patch, and how does this patch go and heal? And that right there is the beautiful passion and story of what I'm about to share with you. Okay, so this dance mom, she went and shared a patch. She shared the whole thing with me, and I had procrastinated all this stuff, and what ended up happening was I had talked to my wife about it. She had agreed that we should do it, and then we just the time just kept going. Well, the day that I saw this friend again, that morning I was just like dead on serious with my wife. I was like we really should like we say we're gonna do it, but like we really should get this patch. Just go and risk spending the money that we don't have to just go get the patch. And let's just start wearing it. Let's just see what happens. Let's see if it does anything for your back, and the pain that you have, and let's just see what happens. And so we had planned to do it, but who knows if we didn't see her that day, if we would have just gone another couple weeks of just postponing it, okay? But what ended up happening, and this is what's so amazing, what ended up happening was I had hired a 56 passenger coach bus. I had hired a driver to go and drive for us for a wedding group that was going from the homestead to a trail, hiking and everything, and to bring them back. Well, I had wanted to go and greet all the clients and go and thank them for using Moody Blue Express, and just go and double check and go make sure that everything was working out and everything worked good. And I had two of our kids with us, or three out of five of our kids with us, and two of them were getting hungry and impatient. We were sitting there at the homestead, and it just got to a point where I was like, you know what, babe, like we should just go, like let's just go. I know you're hungry, the kids are hungry, like it's okay, we'll just leave. So we go and leave, and as we're exiting the homestead, my wife's like, no, babe, like you should probably stay. Well, I've already exited the homestead at this point, so we're driving away from the homestead, and then she makes a comment. I'm like, yeah, you know what, you're right. So we go and turn into the neighborhood that's right next to the homestead, and we go turn in the neighborhood. We pull around and we pull to the side of the road. The same friend of mine who had talked to me about the patch, who had talked to me, and who I knew had her whole life changed by this patch. I knew that she was, financially in a good place now. The same friend who who talked to me about everything. Um, we happened, and we didn't know this. We happened to when we pulled over next to the homestead, when we pulled over in that neighborhood, and we were on this side of the road. She happened to be. This was happened to be her house that we were right there. And she also happened to be in the backyard. She could have not been in the backyard. She could have been in her house, and we would have never saw her, and we would have never known that we were at her house. Had no idea. But she happened to be outside, happened to be cooking food in her backyard for her dogs. And I looked over and I saw her, and I looked at my wife, and I was like, holy crap, babe, that's her. And my wife goes and says that, well, who? And I go and say that's my friend and a dance mom and all that our kids dance together. She's the one talking about the patch. She's the one I was just talking to you about a few hours ago. That's her right there. And then she sees us because I got Moody Blue Express logo. So she comes over and she thinks I'm there for her. She's like, hey, are you coming to get signed up? And I was like, no. I mean, yes and no. Like with my wife and I, we are on board. We are going to jump. We are going to go to this dude. We are going to go do this patch. But we had no idea that you lived here. And she looks at me. She's like, wait, so you didn't know I lived here? Like you're not here to come see me right now? I was like, no. We legit. We're just at the homestead. We're leaving, decided to turn back and go there. We're just pulling over for a second. And I forgot why I pulled over. I think I might checked a message or something before going over there. I was probably checking on the clients or the bus driver. But we have pulled over for a second. And I told her, I was like, no, like we just happen to be here. And I guess you just happen to not only live here, but you happen to be outside right now. And she looked at me. She's like, oh, Kyle, that is such a God thing. Like that is such not coincidence that you are here right now. Like this is definitely something that I feel like God is just bringing this opportunity for you, and and I was definitely like agreeing. And the funny thing is my wife, not being the most touchy person, our friends like going like right, this is like a God thing. And my wife's like, yeah, no, it's definitely a trip. And so at that point, we agree that we're going to call her and jump on this amazing opportunity, and we continue on with our day. So then after everything, we get signed up, we go use the patch, and so here's all that stuff, right? We just the way things lined up, the way that she messaged me on Facebook, the way that she saw me on the post needing it, the way that the way that I had planned on this morning, but maybe I would have been distracted. But then she happened to be in the backyard of the house that we happened to be turning around at. I mean, all of it. It was just a huge trip. So then we go get the patch, My wife typically is pretty tired from work. She, a lot of times her boss will, go do whatever and always have my wife going and doing the loads, going and doing, I swear, my wife does the hardest work and is one of the hardest working people in her department. And, and she just dealt with a lot lately. Really, I feel like ever since we got married and got happy and had a family life, her schedules have been, horrible, to 10 to 6, 11 to 7, 10 to 8 on a freaking Saturday and Sunday, like in the floral department, like just ridiculous. But we're not going to go there, okay? But my point is her energy, she has been tired. She's usually tired. She's usually, taking a nap. Even her mom, just a couple of weeks ago was like asking me, I just don't understand why she's so tired. Like I'm this age and she's that age and she's always tired. And so my wife is usually typically tired. She will go and, you usually go take a nap if she can. Usually a lot, usually like every day if she can with the baby and everything. And so she usually needs a nap, usually pretty tired, and then having two epidurals and just everything at work and everything. She has back pain. Her body hurts, things like that. And so we start wearing the patch, and the first day, kid you not, the first day of her wearing a patch, I notice she doesn't look tired, and it's not like she's like energetic like my energy, right? I mean, she's not like that. But someone who's normally always tired and needing to go to sleep, she seemed perfectly fine. And so I looked at her. I'm like, hey, are you not tired? She's like, no, I'm not tired. I'm like, huh. And of course, I don't want to like give too much credit to the patch, right? I'm like, okay, huh, okay. So the second day goes, same thing, tired, no nap. Third day goes, I'm like really starting to like think like, yeah, this has got to be the patch. And so I look at her. I'm like, hey, you're not gonna take a nap? You're not tired? She's like, no, I'm fine. I'm not tired. I'm like, huh. So I go ask her about her back pain she usually gets. I'm like, hey, how's your back? How's your pain? She's like, no, my back doesn't hurt either. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So I start looking into the testimonies. Okay, I start looking into more into this patch because honestly, me jumping into it was more of just my friend and just seeing what it's done for her life and just willing to give it a try and see what happens to us. But I didn't even really investigate it more as kind of one of those things I just did, full of faith and kind of sporadic or however you want to say it, like I normally am. So then I start looking at everything and I go and find out that this patch is light. It works with light. It's light therapy. It reflects the light that's already inside of you back into your body. And that light, after your 30s, your stem cells start to go dormant, that this light is going and helping, like going and repairing your body from the inside out. And I start realizing it's light. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like when I share this with people, I'm like sharing this light technology with them. And so then I start tripping out that it works with light and light therapy. And at that point, I go and start sharing some of these testimonies that I see. And I start sharing these videos. Well, people start messaging me. You probably one who messaged me and asked me about what this product is. So I go share it. People start getting really interested, and I've been getting all these questions like, hey, is there any kind of testimony for lupus? Is there any kind of testimony for MS? Is there kind of any testimony for all kind of things? So as I'm getting these questions, I start finding testimonies and I start sharing it. Well, my colleague, she's sending me the testimonies every time. I'm like, hey, is there a testimony for lupus? Yeah, Kyle, here you go. Is there a testimony for this? Yeah, here you go. And so I go and start sharing these testimonies, and I'm listening to these testimonies as you guys are listening to the testimonies, and I'm seeing like what this patch is doing, and I'm seeing the magic that's happening. And so then someone wanted to jump under it as under his business because her dad had a seizure or stroke, and has like half his body struggling and in pain and going to chiropractors all the time. So then she had asked me um, if there was any testimonies for people that have had seizures or strokes. And so we went and looked, and we found testimonies for that. So now she jumped in, and I cannot wait. I say within the next 30 days, we're going to be following up, and I pray in Jesus' name and God willing and all the miracles that can happen, that we're going to have a testimony for her dad. She's going to have testimonies with her family. And I was the one that brought her onto the patch now, and we are going to be able to have that testimony, and then it's just going to keep sharing, and just it's going to be light that's going to be being spread, and healing is going to be being spread. And I am just so excited. So that is, going into the how, the what, the where, and a lot of stuff. So so here's another thing that I want to go and share with you guys. And I should have had a marker. I should have had something, a paper, going, and having the Bible ready. But I know one's in Matthew and I know one's in Mark. So here's something, and this is where my preaching and my teaching, and preaching God's word, I really feel is where God's going to be using me at. Is in sharing this healing and this product, and everything. There is a lot of stories in the Bible that have to do with everything that is happening. So there's two stories I want to share with you guys real fast, and we're going to close out with this. But these two stories is these two stories is why I am so passionate about this, because I believe, I'm not a doctor. My colleague, over 20 years as a nurse, been in the medical field. In the end, she's not a doctor either. Okay. The partner that's coming under, any of you that jump under here, none of us are doctors, right? But I have the faith, especially after what it's done for my wife and I. And I forgot. I'll go tell you what I just noticed that it was doing for me yesterday. But just by visually seeing what's happened for my wife, by visually, let me just share with you real fast on mine too. I had a side job I was doing. I was sanding a deck, and the vibration, doing that for hours, whatever. I had this like sharp, it felt like needle stabbing my hand, like a tingling thing. Well, that actually didn't stop. Like, even though I stopped doing the job, every time I ride my Harley, my hands are tingling, and it's been a needle stabbing in my hand that has been so uncomfortable that I have literally been like wiping my hands on my thighs as I'm riding my motorcycle. And just due to the discomfort and the pain, and I don't know how to explain it. It's just like this. It just feels like someone's going like this, like with like a bunch of pins into my hands, and it's just like tingling and everything. Yesterday when I rode my Harley, and I've been wearing a patch for about, I don't know, for 5-6 days. Yesterday I realized my hand wasn't tingling. I had realized that that needle kind of numb. I don't even know how you describe it. That feeling of the needles and just whatever. I didn't have it at all yesterday. And so with this patch and everything, I have the faith of what this patch can do, because I believe and have the faith that the guy who created this patch, he is a God-fearing man. He is a man of faith in Jesus Christ and everything, and he looks to serve God. And when you get to go to his headquarters, you can see the love he has for people, and all these patents and creations he's done, because all these patents, all these patches, they all go and are there to help people with, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whatever it is. All his products are out to serve people. He's got more inventions. If you guys sign up under the business and go look at it, you will be able to see the more things that he's creating that is out there to help save people and heal people faster. So I believe that God is using this man to help the world, that God is using this man to heal. And it's a matter of us having the faith in what he's doing. Because when you read the Bible, when you read scripture, you will see that it's not just God just going and healing and just, like him being right there. God used people to free people out of slavery. God used people to go and heal people. God used people to go and do everything. God has always been helping us and serving us and just being so amazing to us through people. And so this product is something that I have the faith in because of all the testimonies, because of what it's already doing. They tell you to wear a month for every decade that you've lived, but then here we are. I haven't worn it for 3 months. They tell you to at least wear it for 3 months. Give it at least 3 months. But you might have stuff happen with the first day, like my wife. You might stuff happen, just like me, just like the both of us, just like all these people with these testimonies I've been sharing of lupus and MS and diabetes and all these different things, all these testimonies. You might have a story like that within days, the weeks, but is it guaranteed? No. But is it happening? Yes. It's happening every single day, and I can witness to it. My wife can witness to it, and I can guarantee you in the next 30 days, the partner who just signed up, her dad is going to be a witness to it. And then hopefully once I show, once as we start getting our testimonies, hopefully we can get our parents on it, and then our parents will be a witness to it. And before you know, it's just going to go and build and build and build. And that's where the business opportunity is there, because the product is something that is so working that it has grown over 3,000% since 2018. Right now has grown over 3,000%. And so, okay, I'm going to stop because it's like over 30 minutes. I'm going to share this with you real fast. Okay, so there was a woman who had Matthew chapter 9, verse 20. Just then, a woman who had suffered from bleeding for 12 years approached from behind and touched the end of his robe. For she said to herself, if I can just touch his robe, I'll be made well. Jesus turned and saw her. Have courage, daughter, he said. Your faith has saved you. And the woman was made well from that moment. So here's something too, okay? She had the faith that if she could just touch his robe, that she would be healed. She had the faith if she could just touch his robe, that she would be healed. Now, if we go into where's that? In Mark, it might be in Matthew too. I just know it's in Mark, because some of these stories, that they're repeated, because you're hearing it from all different disciples. Let's see, using parables. Let's see, girl restored, woman healed. Deep energies out, feed of 5,000. Drinking water. All right, actually, let me go back to Matthew. Okay, well, I can't remember where it's at in the Bible, but I know the story in the Bible, so let me just go and share it with you. So there is a story here in the Bible where so Jesus, at this time he's healing everybody, right? He's having all these people come to him for healing, and it's getting to a point where so many people are hearing about it. They're all having this faith that if they can get over there, that they would be healed. Okay, there were some friends who had a buddy of theirs, and they had the faith that if they could go and bring this man, to Jesus, okay, if they could go bring this man to Jesus, that he could heal him. Okay, well, what ends up happening is they go and bring him. I'll just leave it. They go and try to bring their paralyzed friend to Jesus, but he's in a house, he's in a home, he's in somewhere, where it's so crowded that they can't even get to him. There's two choices that these friends could have done. These choices, these friends could have went and said that hey man, you know what? Sorry, dude. Like it's just so crowded. Let's just go back home. But they had the faith, they had the drive, they had the trust, they had the passion that if they could just get Jesus, if they could get their friend to Jesus, he would heal him. So it got to a point where they climbed up on top, and they made a way to get through the roof to lower their friend down to Jesus. Because of the faith that these guys had, their friend was healed. My passion, my love, where I'm at is I want to be that friend that goes and takes everyone to be healed. I want to be that friend that can go. I have the faith, just like these people had the faith in Jesus. I have the faith that if I bring people to this patch, that it will heal them. Might not happen the first day, even though there are testimonies like my wife and so many people. The lady that's here in Utah with lupus, she was able to move her neck like that within the first day. All these testimonies, things are happening within days. But I have the faith within days to weeks to, within 3 months. But my faith is days to weeks, okay? I have the faith that when people go and wear this patch, that it will heal them. and so the healing and everything is something that I have the faith in. Now, when it comes to the business side of it, you really got to look at it, right? Once you wear this patch and once you have whatever kind of healing and testimony you have in your life or your parents' life, your family's life, whoever it is, they're going to share it with others. You're going to share your testimony with others. And there's this amazing man that wasn't going to turn this into a network kind of marketing business. He wasn't going to, okay? But what ended up happening was someone came to him and said, hey, have you thought about doing this? And the real question is, why not? Why not? If you have something that people can spread like a wildfire and help people heal, that yes, you can do, that yes, you yourself, you can share it and do this and that and whatever, you can go put out stores, whatever, people go heal, but doing network marketing where if people know that there is a financial piece, a financial opportunity for them, and they can be the messengers for you. They can be the messengers for you to go help heal people, and there's something in it for them. They have a beautiful opportunity to be financially at peace. Why not? So that's where the business side comes in. Is now you have people say all kinds of stuff, all these schemes and whatever. But you know what? If you are an entrepreneur, you completely understand it does cost money to make money. So if you go and buy a product, here's the thing too, is I spent $300 to get my LLC, okay? It cost $300 to get my LLC. It costed $300 to get 3 months supply. Now, this 3 month supply could not get me anywhere, but it's still healing my body and my wife's body. We are going to be lifetime members now because we know and see and believe that what it is doing, it is rebuilding stem cells in our body. It is, going from the light, and it is going from the inside out, going back in. We believe in it wholeheartedly. So 3 months, 300 is what I spent to get my LLC. And signing someone up, I already got a little bit back. But the reality is even if it's a little bit of money at a time, that is still a little bit of money that you were getting that eventually will build and build and build and build. This colleague of mine who brought this to me in the patch, she is completely financially at peace now. Her whole life is completely different. The amount of money that you can make is mind-blowing. And the thing is all you are doing is being the messenger. You are just getting paid to be the messenger. You might go and say, well, I don't really want to go and make money off of doing this, blah, blah, blah. But then I'm just assuming that, okay, you don't need money and you're financially at peace already. Okay, that makes sense. Use the product and just do that then. But if you are someone, which in today's world, we all need more money, then why not use the patch? Why not heal yourself and your body? Why not share with others? And then because you know that that person will have testimony when they wear the patch, why not get them under the business, because they will share it and it'll share and share and share. This business opportunity, I'm not going to push anyone. I'm not going to push anyone to jump into it, but it is something with common sense that you are having a chance to be the messenger in a healing technology, and it is doing amazing things. And guys, I am doing this because I believe again that God is going to use me to be able to step back from my company. My company will still go, but I'm not going to have to stress on if I have to have drivers drive more and I'm doing the preaching and sharing the light more, because in sharing this patch, I am able to share biblical stories like this with you now. In this patch, I will have the freedom and the time to go and share God's word. I will eventually even be at a point, there's just so much that can happen that it's only going to go up from here. And so with that being said, I'm going to close out in prayer real fast. And I just pray that you guys can trust me on this, because there is no ill intentions. I am first and foremost looking to be that healer for people, and at the same time, because I have physically seen the financial piece it offers, I want to help people have that financial piece. I want to help people be able to heal themselves, help people heal, and then everyone can get something out of it financially. And it's not like you're doing anything wrong by sharing this product with people that's going to heal, and there's nothing wrong with getting a little bit out of it. And really the getting something out of it is just a bonus, but it makes perfect sense. And I've done network marketing before, and there's a lot of network marketing, there's a lot of those kinds of businesses that are very successful, and a lot of people have financial peace in it, but you have to have a product that's backed. This product is patented. David has created over 200 patents. There are testimonies, more and more and more. And I believe my wife and I are going to have more and more testimonies. So, guys, stay tuned. Stay with us. Join us. And God bless you. And I pray that you will pray about this and see what I am seeing. God bless you guys. See ya.